So we've been able to get all of the use context usages for our user into our hooks, with the exception of the discover screen where we have to use this refetch book search query and pass the user. Now the reason that refetch book search query can't just grab the user from React context is because it's not a hook, meaning it's not running within the function body of our component. It is instead running in the cleanup function of a React effect, which means it cannot use a hook. But that doesn't mean we can't encapsulate the user within this function. We can actually create a hook that will give us a function that has the user already. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll make a function called useRefetch book search query, and this is going to get the user. So let's copy that right there, and it's going to return this function right here. So we'll paste that right there. And now it no longer needs to accept a user as an argument. And then we can export this instead of the function itself. We'll import it, and then we'll get refetch book search query from useRefetch book search query. And now we don't need to pass the user, and we're getting an ESLint warning here saying, hey, you don't need that user, but it looks like we do need refetch book search query. And that's because we don't want to call a stale version of this function. We want to make sure that we're calling the latest version of the function. But we really only want to have one version of the function. We don't want this use effect to be run multiple times in the lifetime of our component. So what we're going to do is memoize this function that we return so that it is stable through all the renders. So we're going to return React use callback to memoize this function. And for our dependencies here, we'll just fill in the user. So now we can save that, and we can save this. Rest assured that the refetch book search query is going to be stable through the lifetime of this component. And let's make sure that's going to work. So we go to the Discover page, we'll add this to our reading list, we'll navigate to this page, then we'll go back to the Discover page and it's no longer there. Awesome. So if you ever are faced with a situation where you have a function that needs access to something in context, you can either pass it along like we were doing before, or if you don't want to do that, then you can create a hook that consumes the context or uses other React hooks that you need to have it use. And then that returns the function that you need to call. And the function that is returned has the data inside its closure, so the caller doesn't need to worry about that. And now we've successfully removed all unnecessary prop drilling from this application.